we're pretty much like the Latin Mass. If it's not available, we're happy to go to a regular Mass. But just having spent 20 years singing, Table of Plenty, I don't need to hear it again. So I'd rather hear some Gregorian chant.
Yeah. So you'll take the Boomer Ordo.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, I love both. I love everyone. Everyone's wonderful. But if I had especially at this stage of my life, I like the ritual, the majesty, the spirituality of it.
So let me ask you: there's a lot of Catholics who go through. I mean, or even Christians. You can say they kind of grow up that way. They grow up Christian, Catholic, and a lot of people talk about a time where they kind of rebelled a little bit about against their beliefs in some respect. Do you feel like you had that at all?
No. Oh, I never did. I mean, when I was going to a Catholic college, Loyola, I didn't always go to Mass, and we were right next door to the chapel, and I'd be like, that's okay. But yeah, no, I never really rebelled, which is great. We've always tried to live the faith and do it. And, but no, I don't think I ever did.
That's fascinating.
If anything, I've become more like, I don't think that was right, what we were all doing back then.
Right.
And, kind of like maybe going more towards the traditional, yes. So becoming even more, I think, traditional and seeing a lot of what was lost. Like I said, we had nothing but guitars and, tambourines and and a lot of liturgical dancing and just a lot of bizarre stuff. And slowly but surely now to see, especially in the traditional Mass, to hear chant, to see the priest facing ad orientem and all, it kind of flips it and makes you go, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Oh wow! Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And there was a lot. Plus, I think the formation, especially in the 70s, we got a lot of social justice, and we didn't. I didn't really know anything about the faith because that wasn't important. I mean, I did when I was little.
Yeah.
That was hammered in, but then in high school, it was more it was a lot of wordplay. Imagine you're walking through a forest and you see a dog and he needs care. What would you do? You know what I mean?
Wow.
And now imagine that dog is a man, as a hobo we'll call him. And it was okay. So it was very, it's very Franciscan. That's all I can say.
Well, it sounds like you're a typical Baptist hipster bro pastor situation, right?
Yeah. So, but we had some great priests and some great nuns. But yeah, it was like I said, and a lot of my generation, they didn't stick with it because I don't think it was great formation.
So you think that because the liturgy was watered down, that when they took out the Latin Mass and everything, people took it less seriously from what your peers speaking was.
Yeah, I mean, so my wife is Cuban, and she's a refugee, but she remembers when Vatican II was instituted in Cuba properly. And because her mother would always talk about how wonderful it was, and her aunt's a Salesian, and they have a totally different experience of Vatican II than the American Church. Very reverent, very. So I think it's all about how it was rolled out and what kind of diocese was rolled out in. So because to hear them tell it was wonderful, it was great. So and I'm sure it was, but just now having gone through all that, I would prefer to be going to the traditional Mass. And yeah, and like I said, I've had decades of singing Table of Plenty, and all are welcome, and I'm okay not doing that anymore.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.